Now I'm assuming that you just had a very tough year. Maybe you passed, you did well, but not as well as you actually wanted to. And there's a certain level academically that you want to get to. Hey there, my name is KOKETSO, and I'm a medical student at the University of Free State. And in this video, I wanted to talk about how exactly to study during holidays without ruining your break. How to study during holidays to put yourself that step further than the rest of your classmates. Now, the one thing that we shouldn't forget, something that is very important, is that we do realize and note that we are on holiday. Right? We should know, realize, and notice that as we speak, we're actually supposed to be on recess. We're supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be chilling. But for us watching this video, we have priorities. We have priorities. Yes, we want to enjoy the June holidays. Yes, we want to enjoy, currently recording, the December holidays. But as much as we want to do all that, we also do want to do very well academically, because that is pretty much what we do for the most part of our year. And as much as we are on 1% battery, as much as we are tired, we're exhausted, we've had a very long and tiring academic year, it is very important that we notice that studying right now can be very beneficial. Studying right now can set us up for excellence in the next year. And that is exactly what we are here to discuss in this video. I'm going to give you 5 tips, or rather 5 strategies or steps that you can take starting from today to make sure that when next year starts, you make sure that you set yourself up for everything to go perfectly, or at least close to perfect when it comes to your academic needs and wants. Now, the first tip that I'm going to give you is take it easy. Take it easy, start small. You can start by studying perhaps a productive 1 hour or 2 hours per day. By productive, this is what I mean. We're on holiday, right? Put your phone away. If you have headphones, put your headphones on and listen to some music. But for 2 hours or that 1 hour, if you are going to study using the Pomodoro method, of which I will, you study for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. That's already 30 minutes and 30 minutes of studying, so that's an hour. If you're going to study 2 hours, you do that 4 times and you are done for the day. Start easy. Perhaps for the first 2-3 weeks of you being at home, you can do that, and then notch it up a bit. Take it up to 3 hours, take it up to 4 hours, take it up for 5 if you really are motivated and you have that much work to do. But that's the first tip. You want to take it easy because, as I said, it's the end of the year. You are burnt out, you are tired. And if you try to go explosive, I promise you, I give it less than a week, or at least 2 weeks, to give you the benefit of the doubt, and you will get burnt out. You will get tired because you have been working throughout the whole year, and you'll be working during holidays, and the moment schools open, there's no rest again because we continue. So you want to utilize this rest without necessarily taking away from the fact that you are supposed to be resting. And the second tip is, I want you to focus on 3 concepts. By concepts, I'm saying this strategically because there are some of you that are in varsity, there's some of you that are in high school. So for those of you in high school, what I want you to do now is focus on 3 subjects. I remember when I was in grade 11, for the December holidays, I focused on life science, maths, and physics, because I knew that those are the 3 that I need to get high in order to get to medicine. But right now, for example, if I was to do my semester 4 modules, which I just did now, I'd probably focus on hematology, I'd focus on the gastrointestinal system, and focus on, what else gave me problems? Maybe the cardiovascular system, maybe? Yeah. So yeah, those 3, those are rather the modules that I would focus on. So pick 3 from those that you have to do and focus on those, because you obviously can't study everything. You will get burnt out, I repeat. So pick your top 3, pick your top 4 that you feel like, okay, I either need to improve in these or I'm struggling in these, and then you focus on those. And in that's actually bringing me to another point, which I'd like to just merge into this one now. What we are going to do is spend the first weeks. Let's say, for example, I have a 4-week recess. Is it 5 weeks? And what I want to do, or rather what I'm planning to do, is focus the first 3 weeks out of this 5 on doing this year's work. So to do work that I've already done, to revise. I'm starting with it because it's already fresh in my mind. I'm after writing exams just a week ago. Just yesterday, for example, I was having an OSCE. So what I want to do is spend the first 3 weeks doing what I've already done, right? Trying to revise, look at those topics, look at those modules that gave me trouble, things that I've never understood. Now I'm spending time to actually watch videos, to actually understand. When they say thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura, what exactly are they speaking about? When they say systemic lupus erythematosus, what exactly are they talking about, right? I want to give these things time to say, okay, I saw in the exam, there's a left axis deviation. I saw that they said there's a right axis deviation when it comes to the ECG. Now I want to actually understand, what do they mean when they say that? I want to watch videos. I want to read about. So take the first 3 weeks, in my case, of the 5 weeks, doing this year's content, and then the last 2 weeks doing next year's content. That is now you setting yourself up for the future, because it does not help to start with grade 12 physics, to start with grade 12 maths, when you don't understand grade 11 maths and physics. I know it makes sense. So do exactly that. Now, the next tip is probably the most important one. And I will say, in my case, especially because I know myself. And I hope that you do know yourselves, because to be able to watch this video, you should be at that academic level that, yeah, you've had over 10 years of school. Maybe you're in grade 9, 10, 11, 12. Even if you're earlier than that, it's okay. But you should be academically mature to say, I know, or I have an idea of the type of learner that I am. First of all, I know that I study better at night. That's one thing. I know again that I study better in the early hours of the morning. So what that means is our tip number 3. Study at your peak energy time. If you know that in the morning, that's when your energy is at a peak, you study at that time. You do your 2 hours or your 3 hours in the morning. If you know that it's at night, you do your 2 or 3 hours at night. Just make sure that it's the most productive time for you, that you know, when I'm at home, if maybe during the day there's just so much commotion, everyone is moving around, they're sending you around, you can't possibly try and study in the afternoon. Then use the mornings before everyone wakes up, or use the nights when everyone is asleep. Because we're on recess doesn't mean that your brain goes on airplane mode and stops wanting to learn. This is actually the best time to actually want to learn or do things that are very interactive, that are going to help you with keeping your brain sharp. And that is why I use Brilliant.
As a medical student, I don't do maths anymore. But you know, I've always loved maths. The kind of maths that really sticks with me is not really the basic stuff. And recently I decided to give the mathematics on Brilliant a visit. It's the weird stuff. The ideas that make you pause and go, wait, how's that even possible? And recently I've been getting into more of these mind-bending concepts again. Things like infinite sets, paradoxes, and these kind of problems that feel impossible, but suddenly they're not. And I was so impressed by how, in the beginning, the concept is sort of difficult, but the moment you get an answer wrong, and Brilliant starts to sort of explain it to you, it starts to make sense. You actually see why exactly the answer is the way that it is. And honestly, I didn't realize how much I missed that feeling of having my brain stretched a bit by numbers. And a big part of that came from me actually using Brilliant's mind-bending mathematics course. I started because I was looking for something that didn't just tell me the concept, but actually play with it. And that's what I love about Brilliant. The learning doesn't feel passive. You're dragging points, testing ideas, trying different approaches. And you start to sort of develop an intuition for concepts that doesn't normally feel impossible to grasp. I want you to experience this. I want you to feel this. I want to share this with you. To get Brilliant for free today, go to brilliant.org/koketso/ and you will get 20% off an annual premium subscription. And the same curiosity that made me fall in love with learning will get to you.
And tip number 4 of this video is you want to use light study methods. What that means is you want to use study methods that don't drain you. Like, you don't have to, I mean, if you want to, right? If you actually are willing to put in that time, but you don't have to like take excessive notes where you're writing notes every single day. You are studying this, you're looking at that and looking at that. You can do flashcards, especially for the work that you're revising, right? The before work, the 3 weeks out of 5. You can watch videos, as I said, to try and understand. Actually, you can watch a lecture. Like, you can literally go on YouTube and say hematological peripheral smear lecture, and it will show me a peripheral smear, how it's actually, like, it's going to show someone teaching it from the beginning to say, okay, this is what a peripheral smear is, this is how it's done, this is what you can see from it, and this and that and that. And that will allow me to also in test be able to think fundamentally, to say, where does this thing come from? So use light study methods, to be honest. Now let's say, for argument's sake, you're in grade 11, you're preparing for grade 12. You can actually look for, okay, for example, you do know when you check the exam guideline that one of the topics in metric that you'll start with is momentum and impulse. Another one is Newton's law. You can actually go and watch a video, Momentum and Impulse lecture on YouTube. You see a 50-minute video, a 1 hour long video, a 40-minute long video. Sit through it. Give it your time and attention. Focus there. Don't be looking at other things. This person's going to explain what exactly is momentum. Where do we get this thing called momentum? Why do we measure momentum? That thing is going to be able to allow you, when you're sitting in an exam or in a test or in class, when your teacher actually teaches the concept, you actually understand where it comes from. For someone to just cram the definition of momentum, but you don't even know where it comes from, you don't even know where the formula comes from, you can't even make sense of it to say, why are they actually calling this momentum and not something else? It's going to be difficult for you to learn more and more and more stuff. But when you actually understand something fundamentally, you understand the basic, you understand where it comes from, and you build up on that, you won't even need to study for some things because it's already at the back of your mind. Like, I know right now that momentum is a product of an object's mass and its velocity. I didn't cram that. The last time I looked at that definition was in grade 12, and that was 3.5 years ago. Yeah. Yes, that was 3.5 years ago, the last time I saw the definition. But it's still here because I understood that momentum, if you push someone, they go at momentum. I play football, so I know that if I run at someone and then I change direction, I'm trying to move them against their momentum. And the bigger they are, the more the momentum. The faster they're moving, the more the momentum. That's exactly what momentum explains. That is exactly what momentum explains. You don't even have to think of it in physics terms. Just fundamentally, understanding where the thing actually comes from makes it easy. And the last tip of this video is you want to protect your rest days. What that means is you can't possibly study 7 days a week, especially at December. First of all, bazothi uyabhora again. They're gonna say, "Ay, uSmangele uyabhora, she's always studying, stuff like that, right?" Also, you're gonna get burnt out. Also, it's a break, guys. Like, it's literally a break. It's recess. It's a holiday. Rest. You need to rest. So you can't possibly study all 7 days. Maybe study 5 days out of the 7. Maybe study 6 out of the 7. But you can't study every day. Have a rest day where you just feel like you don't feel guilty at all. You just rest. Like, you just take your time. The whole day you don't do anything. You just don't do anything. If you a person who likes playing football, you go play football. If you like games, you play games. Not to imagine every single day you have to wake up at 6 and study. Perhaps do that for 6 days out of 7 to build discipline so that when the year starts, then it's easy for you to continue. But not every day. You will burn out. Remember what I said. We are preparing for next year. So when the year starts and you're already tired, I promise you, your year is going to go horribly. It's going to go down to the dogs. It's going to go horribly. So you want to make sure that we are having momentum. We keep up the energy. Pun intended, but either way, we keep the energy so that by the time that we actually do get to next year and we start, we are very sharp. We are very sharp. We are very woke as compared to someone who is just resting, drinking, dancing, and doing nothing academic whatsoever when the year opens. And so that is it. Very, very simple. Nothing overwhelming. And it is very effective. I can attest, I can tell you that I'm going to do it again these holidays. And I will tell you about at the beginning of the year, how do I actually feel about studying during holidays, preparing for varsity? Because I used to do that in high school. So now I want to try and do it again and see if it actually does work out and play out the way that it did when I was in matric. But until then, this is probably the last video of the year that you're going to be seeing of me in the setting, because I am going back home tomorrow. And from there, the videos I'll be making are videos that I am actually, after posting a thingy on YouTube asking for your suggestions, and then I'll try to look at those suggestions and see which ones I can do and which ones are feasible. And yeah, from there, I think the next video is probably going to be a question and answer, where I answer your questions, because I know it's been like a year and a half since I made such a video, and I know that many of you have burning questions, academic questions and personal questions. So yeah, I will announce when I'm going to do the Q&A, and then we get onto it. But until then, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay happy and healthy, and